Welcome. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Inside the Walls podcast. I am just in a quinky dink right now. My camera was off, my mic was off. I was completely lost. I had no idea what I was going to do this evening. And welcome to another edition of Inside the Walls. Alongside me is my partner in crime, Matt Patton. And the third co-host is currently in training camp in Willing, who might do a surprise live look into camp probably later in the episode. But we have two excellent guests on tonight's show. We have co-owner of the Columbus Lions, Kacee Smith, followed by President Brendan Negron of the Carolina Cobras. We'll break down the schedules towards the end of the episode with Jeff when he joins. We'll talk about the organizations, events, what the teams we expect for both teams, including the Columbus Lions. Welcome back, Columbus, to the National Arena League. We are 1 week away from the kickoff. But before we get going on this episode, remember game day, March 10th, National Arena League, Monday Night Football, Spartans and Miners. Next, well, crap, come to think of it, Not next Monday, the week Monday after that, Matt. We'll be there live.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm watching that intro. And I'm jacked. Like, let's play some ball. Let's play some ball. Seriously, like, let's go, man. That was sick. I got to agree with our guy Justin. That was fire. That was fire, man.
Well, do we need to go start talking about the hype video? We'll play it later at the end of the episode, but we have a guest lined up behind. Well, actually, he's in the green room right now from the Columbus Lions. But no further ado, let's get into the Columbus Lions preview for the 2025 season with co-owner Kacee Smith. Kacee, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Sorry for the extended intro. I wanted to drop.
No, I was enjoying it. No, that was great. That was awesome. Just like Matt, I was getting fired up watching that, so that was good.
Well, this is the type of episode that I'm fine to get a copyright claim. Like, I don't care. Like, I do it for the players. But Kacee, 2020. Well, I almost said 2017. Columbus came in and started the National Arena League with 7 other organizations. One of them were in my hometown, Jacksonville. But the reason why we teamed you and Carolina together, you're still technically the founding members of the NAL. That's why we have you together this episode. But the journey for Columbus has been historic, playoff after playoff after playoff, championship after championship. But now you come back to the Arena League, National Arena League, after 2.5 year hiatus from the league. That journey must have been a whirlwind, going from in the NAL, then going to the AIFA, and then the AIF. Now back to the National Arena League. Welcome back. The journey is crazy.
It's been a journey.
We've talked behind scenes on different platforms, but how's everything going in Columbus right now?
It's going good. It's crazy. We were kind of joking around the other day that we finally have our full front office staff about 2 weeks before we kick off. So it's we have a really good crew in the front office now. The biggest probably staff we've had since I've been a part of the organization since 2020. So it's one of those things where it's good, but everyone's trying to find their lanes and find out how to help and how to get us, going as quick as we can. So, so you got the building of the front office and you got the building of the roster. So, everyone's kind of, getting ready to get going because we're just right around the corner now. So.
Well, I know how Columbus operates, and I've looked at your roster, and there are familiar names on the roster that seem like they've just been there for ages. Tremont Fortson's one of them. The Ageless Wonder's been in the league for 12 years, and it seems like he's only played for 2 organizations, but majority in Columbus. ZB, who's been around the block, is back. Ziegler, who's been around the block, is back in Columbus. Looks like you guys have brought back some original names from the original NAL that come back to Columbus to, can I say, get over the hump and actually claim the first NAL title for the Columbus Lions?
Man, we hope. I mean, that'd be nice. It's like you said, we're either deep in the playoffs or we're winning a championship, but we really want to win the NAL championship. And I guess my last taste of that was 2021 up in Albany, and that was a game that about halftime I really thought we were going to be picking a trophy out, and it didn't go that way. So we love to have that opportunity again. Hope to make the most of it now. Hopefully this year is the year as we come back to the league.
That game, I still remember vividly talking to Mason. He's like, that's one of the first games I've ever played where I actually threw more touchdowns than the other team did, and we lost.
Yes, that I still sometimes wake up at night wondering what happened.
And I know a lot of Columbus fans remember, but that was a loaded team. You had Antoine Grant, you had Lonnie Outlaw, you had Mason, you had Darren Townsend. Like, your team was, and the defense was no joke here. You had Yerk Jones on the other side too.
Yeah.
The thing is that Albany, for some odd reason, made the extra points. Columbus didn't, even though
kicking got us. Yeah.
And I still remember Mason. It's like, that's why I don't trust kickers. That was the final year for you guys in the NAL. Then was it the final year? No.
No.
I may be getting COVID
one more year
mixed up.
Yeah,
one more year.
One more year. Yep.
The following year, you made the playoffs, lost to Carolina in the first round.
Yep.
In 19, right?
That's It 2022.
2022.
Yep.
They all get jumbled together, Kacee.
They
You know
do. They as long as I've been doing this, they start blurring together.
And then the following year, you joined the AIFA and you won the championship. Then you went to Brandon Eichard, AIF, who now is the
Right.
commissioner of the National Arena League. You played with organizations that came into the NAL. You are the last one standing almost.
Yeah.
But playing, was it an adjustment going from the NAL to the AIFA, then going to the AIF? What changed for the organization, the mindset from going from the NAL playing top tier competition to was it like resetting the organization, or was it still the same goals but a different path?
Yeah, it's all the goal is always to win. So I mean, the goal is to win and win a championship, but be the standard. I mean, that's what we always say in Columbus: be the standard. But it was really kind of a chance to. We really needed to reset. I mean, you had a coach that had been here since the beginning that had left, that also had served as a general manager, and it was. We really kind of needed to, I guess, use the word punt, even though we don't punt in arena football, to try to regroup, because it's like we wasn't going to take a year off. We wasn't going to take a black year, still wanted to play. But with just, certain things that come up, it was just, how do we survive? And that's the thing that we do in Columbus is every year, it's always about the Columbus Lions. We love the NAL, glad to be back in the NAL, hope that we can continue to be in the NAL. But every year it's an evaluation of like what is best for this organization to continue to be one of the longest running organizations in the country. So that's kind of what it was. It was a different experience for sure. I was watching the NAL. I missed those games and those rivals, but it was good. And it got us over the hump and got us to where we're at now. So.
In this offseason, you made a transition with two other organizations. We won't elaborate on that, but you get back in the NAL here for the 2025 season, and a familiar name pops up on your schedule, and it's the Carolina Cobras, which you have 3 matchups against them this year.
Yeah. Yep.
History between you two organizations, postseason history between the two organizations, some fierce battles between the two organizations in their time in the NAL from 2018, 2019, and beyond. That must be something for the Carolina. I know for the fans of Carolina, but for the fans of Columbus, having a familiar face return to the Civic Center this year.
Yeah, so a lot of people are excited about that. It's a logo you recognize, it's a helmet you recognize, and so they're excited to bring that back and to build that rivalry up, because I guess it's just geographically us always kind of being close together. It always seems like we played each other a little more, so there's a lot of history there. So it's going to be fun to bring that back on the turf.
Is there any other game that you looking forward to besides Columbus, Carolina? There's
let's
team
see.
in the American Division.
I really don't know a lot about the teams or some of the players. I mean, I guess after today, I saw where another organization kind of crowned Wheeling. So it's like, I guess I got that one circled now. But I want to see how we do with that. But I'm just glad to be back in NAL. So I'm just going to really enjoy every single week and really kind of take in the games. And that's one thing this time around. I left the sport for a little while. And I came back into it, and it's you don't know how long you're going to be in it, and so it's like I really enjoy slowing it down and just enjoying it. So really going to enjoy every game as they come.
Matt?
Yeah, so I'm really intrigued when I look at your roster, and we were talking a little bit off air, about some of the guys that are on the roster. We know you got Marcus Brooks coming back at quarterback, but you've got another guy specifically that has a pretty recognizable name within the industry as well, with quarterback Giovanni Sanders. Spent some time in the IFL and multiple teams throughout his career. But then you also mentioned that you have a third quarterback. I believe his name is Taj Thomas on the at camp. So just talk a little bit about that QB room that you guys got going on there in Columbus.
Yeah, you got three good quarterbacks that are all a little different. Brooks, without looking at the bios, I would say probably has the longer experience. I'd say Giovanni is more of your dynamic type athlete, and then Taj is he's like 6'6", 240, with a rifle of an arm. And then when you watch his highlights, what I love about him is he's not scared to drop his shoulder and run over somebody. So three very different quarterbacks with a lot of experience, and that's an interesting position to watch. Like that's one that I'm curious to see. What's going to come out of that. I'm excited. Marcus has been fantastic for us for the past few seasons, and he has a lot of experience, and so that's kind of hard to beat out. Knowing in this sport what to do with the ball and where to put the ball is very vital. But yeah, three very different quarterbacks. So
definitely. And then you got guys that like Ziegler and some of those other guys that are on your roster. Zach Brown's been around forever. Some former first team NAL guys. So just talk about like the role that those guys play in camp with helping some of these new guys, some of the young guys, and specifically those rookies maybe that you guys have on the roster.
Yeah, so we are very blessed, I'd say, to have a good nucleus, a good core of returning players. I think that's one thing that's really unique to Columbus and says a lot about the community. Is a lot of these guys came in to play with the Lions and then just kind of stay. And that's great, for us as a team to kind of know that you have that to count on, and then you have that to rebuild on. Like you said, Zach, like it's nice, he's been with a lot of times we played against him with Carolina, as you mentioned, and so it's nice to have him wearing the blue this time around. But that's kind of the interesting thing that we try to do is have the core nucleus, but then also find holes, replace holes, and then have them teach and train. And we really try to find talent in Georgia. Like we kind of try to pride ourselves on as much as we can, but as you can tell from the roster, we do go out and fill as we need to. So kind of excited to see who the new stars are coming that's going to pop out of this.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I wanted to ask you about. Like, is there a name on this roster that maybe fans have never heard of that you're really excited to watch play and that fans should be paying attention to?
Two names I would say to circle would be Michael Yancey. 6'6" athlete. Right now, I think he's kind of going to be a defensive end, linebacker, and receiver. 6'6", just phenomenal athlete. And then another one's a recent pickup, Marco Lee. He played at Virginia Tech, and I believe it was Southern Alabama running back. So that's two names to kind of follow. But Yancey, though, that's he's turning heads, and a good-looking athlete. So I would definitely follow him.
Well, I know we can't. We're talking about the roster, and we know. Well, I know personally you're a fandom for the Bulldogs, University of Georgia.
Go Dogs.
Any dogs on the Columbus Lions this year?
Oh yeah, we got Trenton Thompson that's going to be on the defensive line. So we're excited to see him and see what he's going to bring. I hear he's looking good. So that's something I'm excited about. Yeah, you can't have enough dogs. We need more of them. We got to figure out how to get them.
The problem is they're too dang good and they're playing in the NFL. It's like
they're
all getting drafted.
I know, right? I was just watching the combine today and watching some of our dogs in that, and I'm like, here we go again, about 6 in the first round.
Yeah. So we got a fan question here that I wanted to throw up there, and Josh asks, does driving 3 hours one way for every home game qualify as being a super fan?
You are a super fan, because here's what a lot of people don't know with me is I'm about 2 hours from Columbus. So I get down there, as much as I can. And, when we win, those trips back are pretty fun. And if not frustrated, that trip's a lot longer. So I can only imagine as a fan. So we appreciate you. And I've seen him post before that he actually bought season tickets this year. So they appreciate that. Thank you for the commitment.
That's great.
That's not unusual for the South. You know that, Kacee.
That's right. Yeah, you got a lot of diehards. That's for sure.
Like, I know people who live in Miami that drive 7 hours each and every week to go to a Florida State game. Even the last year's
awesome,
game,
man.
how bad they were.
That's
I know there's people that live
in
in Jacksonville that make that trip to Athens every weekend for a Bulldog game. So football just hits different in the Southeast. People will drive the extra 4.5 hours to get to their game. I don't know how it is in Iowa and Nebraska area there, Matt, but
I'll drive 4 hours to Iowa City any day of the week for sure. So,
well, see, it's
that's
fandom
awesome.
right there. Minus the roster, minus the upcoming schedule, one thing I know about Columbus is that it's a small town. Minor league sports are big. You got the hockey team that's doing well. You have a baseball team I heard that's starting up there in Columbus, and you guys have been there the longest. How's the community now embracing Columbus over the years?
Yeah, it's. I think that our fans are happy we're back in the NAL. I think that's the league that they know and recognize the most. I would say next to that was probably you had to be a long term fan of like the SIFL back in like the early 2000s. So this is the more longevity league that they're more familiar with. So they're excited about that. And then you're right. It's a sports town. It's the hockey team does phenomenally well, and then the Braves minor league organization coming in is getting a lot of excitement too. So I don't really look at that as like I think in some markets people see it as competition, but I don't because I like to be in a community where people are like looking for things to do and they're used to looking for like sporting events and things to go out to, it's like a supportive community overall. Like I think that's a better place to be in than like a community that doesn't support anything, you know. So I think it's a good thing for us. But yeah, overall though, the fans are very excited about us being back in this league for sure.
Well, when they know that there's an event happening each weekend in the Civic Center, eventually they'll run into a Columbus Lions event, and it
Yep.
might be a time where they actually get hooked and get into a game. But speaking about events at the Civic Center, where can fans get tickets? What numbers to call? Any packages going on? Or is there any upcoming events that get the fans more engaged with the team?
Yeah, so our single game tickets are going to go live on the 6th. We got our season ticket fan party on the 5th. We got our information like on Facebook, social media. You can go see where that's at. So that's where our season ticket holders come pick up their season tickets, meet coaches, Leo, the line players, kind of hang out. And then we go live with our single game tickets right after that. So and then right off the bat, we got the like the local hometown heroes night for like police officers, nurses, things like that. And then we'll keep dropping themes out as the season goes. Different things. Got a few ideas in the store. I don't think they're all been nailed down yet. And then just trying to hit different entertainment aspects throughout the season too. And that's one thing that we always want to do is have a good game, but have some good entertainment. So like I know like our first game we've booked and contracted some break dancers, and we're talking to like the frisbee dogs and things like that. Just something to come out and there's fun for everybody.
And that is week one's matchup against Peach State, correct?
That's right. Yep.
And a lot of fans want, and we get the questions from the podcast, do these games count towards league standings? They do not. It's just basically it's a game for you to go enjoy, and you get to see what the Columbus Lions can put on the field, because right after that, it's a gauntlet.
That's right.
Wheeling, you got Carolina. You got Wheeling, Carolina, Shreveport, Beaumont, just name Colorado's in there, Idaho's in there. So you guys have a schedule coming for you this season. I don't think you play. I think I'm getting.
Absolutely, and I like that the non-league game is the first game because, as I mentioned a while ago, we got a lot of new staff, and so this is going to let us get the kinks out. So I'm really excited about getting to enjoy a game. It's going to be a good game with our friends Peach State Cats, and then but it allows us to kind of like iron some stuff out and get some wrinkles out before we hit that gauntlet of a schedule.
Yeah, speaking of the schedule, I have the graphic right here. Peach State on March 9th, followed by back-to-back against Carolina, back-to-back weeks, March 21st, March 28th. Home against Beaumont on the 18th. Then the 6-game stretch to wrap up the year at Colorado on the 26th of April. Home or at Columbus or at Carolina against Columbus on May 3rd. Then home against Shreveport, May 10th, 17th. May 17th, they're at Beaumont on May 24th. At Wheeling, and then on May 31st home against Wheeling. And I think those two games at the end of the year are going to be pretty interesting. Well, that whole schedule is pretty interesting.
That's a heck of a schedule, yeah.
But overall, I'm glad that Columbus is back in the National Arena League. It gets like getting the old original OG team back together. We just need another couple of organizations to come back, and then we actually have the original squad. Come back, but this is a business, and most likely that's just a pipe dream for me. Probably for same thing for Matt as well. We asked as a coaches and players. I've asked as a now President Negron, but Coach Negron, what is your personal goal this season as a person who operates the organization, and what is the team goal for this season?
Okay, so team goal for us is just always championship. Like that's the thing. We try to be kind of like confident in that, but a little modest with it. But like we're the standard, and so we think it's championship or bust, or that's just how we think we should look at it as far as football goes. As far as personally, I'm just excited to see us just grow as an organization with it's kind of been a little bit more of a fun year for me because I've not been so involved in the day to day because we were growing staff members and stuff. So as much as I'm excited about seeing our team compete on the field and compete on the turf, I'm equally as excited about watching our front office staff grow and develop and seeing them kind of take off and take root and see them really kind of take ownership and run this for years to come. So that's what I'm personally kind of looking forward to.
Well, Kacee, I appreciate you joining on such short notice. We had to get you and Carolina on the episode because of the connection for the original NAL. But again, like all the organizations we've talked to so far, they all have the goal of a championship. Unfortunately, not every team can win a title. There's going to be some bumps in the roads for some organizations. There's going to be one team that's going to win it all. But welcome back to the NAL. I hope, maybe, Matt, you may join us at Columbus probably if there's a expected game day. We don't know. We might. Hopefully it could be a game that could be a determination of a championship, playoff spot, playoff game. I don't know. That schedule's pretty enticing. I'm just saying there, Kacee. Just saying.
It's a tight schedule. Hey, y'all come. We got a spot for you, man. Y'all can sit right there with me and broadcast. No problems.
Well, I'll let Matt sit by you. But anyways, Kacee, I really appreciate it. For the fans who are watching, go to what's the website for them to go get tickets at?
ColumbusLines.net. And that'll take you to our Ticketmaster account. Yep.
Well, Kacee, appreciate it. Be well. Have safe travels to Columbus next weekend for the first game of the season. And hopefully we get to talk to you in person one day or possibly a future game day. Don't know yet, but can't leave out the questions. But anyways, Kacee, I appreciate you joining. We'll be back right after this with President Negron of the Carolina Cobras. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And my bad, I forgot to add President Negron. Still going to be weird to call you President Negron.
Well, then don't do it. Just call me Coach. I even forgot to change my name in the description, so I'm good with still being called Coach.
Okay.
I fixed it for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's still weird for me too, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's an adjustment, but we'll see how long I do this thing. How are you guys? How's it going?
I'm doing good. It's not like, well, I can't really say this, but it's almost like a continuation of the Snake Pit, seeing that it's a part of the Inside the Walls network, and now you are the president. And we had a chance to introduce the new head coach of the Carolina Cobras, Mike Bonner, this past week. How's the transition working for you there?
I mean, I think it's great. When I brought on Coach Bonner and Coach Clark and kind of beefed up our coordinators, I did that intentionally so that, I could lean more into my head coach role and rely on experienced coordinators. And I mean, it's no slight on my staff from last year, but we were all rookies, right? And the grind of an NAL season and kind of the ups and downs and the adversities can be a lot on first time coaches. So having Coach Bonner and Coach Clark, on staff already allowed me to kind of pivot and do some things differently in the off season that I didn't get to do previously. And then, when I made the decision to put all my focus on the business and hand over the reins, we were already well within a process. It was an easy decision to promote from within. Either one of whether it be Coach Bonner or Coach Clark or even Coach Price and Coach Vogel, any one of those guys could have easily taken on the head coaching role, and I think have done a good job. Coach Bonner's just got a lot of experience. He's been at some places that mirror the values that I think Carolina has. And so for me, it was a comfortable transition. I think you guys know how much I love this franchise and what it means to me. So handing the football portion of it off is not easy. So it speaks volumes that I was comfortable handing it to him.
Well, unlike the other, well, I can't say other because Idaho is in your same shoes. They don't really have camp yet. Players report pretty soon. Could be some team meetings going on for players actually reporting itself. But 7 other organizations are almost completed their first week of training camp as season starts next week. You guys start camp next week because you guys don't kick off until March 15th, or excuse me, March 5th. Yeah, March 15th. Getting the dates, too many dates in my head right now. March 15th against Willing. It's go time. Like, not to jump on a lot of some other coaches' phrases, but 2 weeks, Bonner, Clark have a big chance of big decisions to make because there's some guys on your roster that I think are good enough to play on other organizations that may not make the Cobras organization this year, because I believe the Carolina Cobras' overall team is, well, I've had the opportunity to interview a lot of the players. It's very solid, especially a certain guy who wears the number 11 in Greensboro. He's kind of a little bit up too high right now with the was that Bird team in Philadelphia. He's kind of high on them right now.
He is.
But he's focused. Like we had him on the new Snake Pit this past week, and he's basically said that he's basically taken that leadership role, because when he was with last year, it was him and Adam Smith, and they helped balance it out. And a couple years ago, it was him, Kendrick Gaines, DJ Myers, and so he becomes the elder. Now he's the main guy. Do you expect James Summers to be that type of individual for this year's team?
Absolutely. And I think that, that is part of his continued evolution as a player. You want the other players to emulate James's effort, his intensity, his locker room presence. He's a good guy to learn from. He's been to the dance. He's played at the highest level. He's played under, legendary coaches. I mean, this guy played for Mike Tomlin. He's the epitome of what, we want in a football player. And I think what I love about James is, whatever talk he does do, and it's not much. He's not one that likes a lot of banter. He's selective about, when he's going to speak to the team, when he's going to speak to a teammate, whatever it may be. But he backs it up on the field, man. I mean, all you got to do is watch James Summers play. Every run is 150 miles an hour. When you hit him, you feel it. When he hits you, you feel it. He knows where to be. He knows the game. He's an offensive coordinator for his alma mater, high school here in Greensboro, Page. So, I mean, it's like having a coach on the field. He was with me yesterday. He came from the gym, and he may be in the best shape of his life right now. And he's mentally right. He's doing really good things off the field for himself that has him locked in. So I expect James to take on a leadership role. I think this roster, I think you guys would agree, looks a little different than in previous years, just in terms of familiar names. And so we're going to need James to step up and be a leader in the locker room. And I'm excited about what he's going to do this season. He's going to be a Swiss Army knife. You're going to see him in a lot of places this year.
Yeah, for me, I think you talk about. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up a few guys that are on the roster. But you talk about James Summers. But for me, I'd love to hear. I've talked to him off the podcast. He's a friend of mine. I actually text him, a couple times a week or so sometimes. But Jordan Barton, wide receiver, we saw him catch the game-winning touchdown pass in the National Arena League Championship game in 2024. Just talk about what kind of a season you expect from Jordan and what the fans in Carolina should look forward to about Jordan.
So I'll give you a hot off the presses. Jordan Barton has arrived in Carolina. I actually checked him into our team hotel about an hour ago and gave him a hug, and we're going to eat lunch together tomorrow. Matt, I think you hit the nail on the head. I brought Jordan in because he knows how to win championships. He's won multiple. Um, uh, I expect him to be one of the faces of the franchise, and I'm putting that pressure on him, and he knows that. I expect him to lead our wide receiver room. I expect him to teach our younger receivers what it's like to be a professional. I expect him to bring that championship mindset to our locker room and tell us exactly how to win a championship in an NAL season. He is everything you said and more, everything you think he is and more. He's respectful. He's a student of the game. He's going to represent our organization really, really well. And I won't hesitate to say that is my signing of the year. I mean, I'm proud of myself for being able to bring him to Carolina away from Omaha, because I know how well the program in Omaha is run, and I'm sure Coach Tatum and Ricky would love to have Jordan still on the roster right now. So the fact that I was able to lure him from that after winning multiple rings over in Omaha speaks volumes to my abilities as a front office guy. So I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. But I brought him here to change our mindset and to teach this team how to win a championship, how to go from game 1 to game 12 and win the whole thing. And so anything less than that from him, from us, anything less from us in terms of absorbing the information that he gives us, to me would be a failure. I have very, very high expectations of Jordan and think he's going to do something special this year. I'm excited about him.
Yeah, and I can speak from personal experience watching him play, but not even just that, just like off the field. I mean, you guys got a guy who is going to go to all the team functions. He's going to talk to all the fans. He's going to sign all the autographs. So I was sad to see him leave, but I couldn't think of a better organization for him to go to, and I'm just looking forward to watch Jordan play this season. But
he's a consummate professional, man. I'm very excited. He's going to do so great out here.
Absolutely. On top of that, you guys got another former Beef player was there with you guys last year, Gibson Zaya playing D-line, and then you got Tobias Taylor at running back. Talk a little bit about Gib and just what kind of impact he had on the team last year and going forward.
So I'm hard on Gibson. I think he's like a son. I hope he views me the same way I view him. But I think that's why we sometimes want to kill each other. But it's all out of love. Gibson was one of the top statistical leaders in sacks last year, and to me, he did that half asleep. Gibson's due for a breakout year. I don't think Gibson has scratched the surface of his talent. What I love about Gib is what he did this offseason. He really set some roots here. He's coaching at a local high school. He's teaching. He's made North Carolina home, and so now he's with the mindset that he's playing for his home fans, for his home crowd. Again, we talk about leaders, and you can't have 25 leaders. You got to have some guys that are willing to follow. But I expect Gibson to be part of that leadership fraternity. Those 3, 4, 5 guys that lead the locker room or maybe lead by position. So you talk about Jordan and James on the offensive side of the ball. That's where I expect Gibson to step up on the defensive side of the ball. He got hurt a little bit at the end of last year, and he played through injury. He's really healthy now. I think putting him, on one side of the line, besides some of the other guys that we signed on the D line, really, really elevates our D line. I'll admit toward the end of the season, I was a little disappointed with our D-line play. So I want Gibson to step his game up. I want him to do what he does in practice. He makes an offense miserable in practice, and that's what makes us better. So I want all of Gibson, but I think he needs to have a breakout year. He's overdue, and I'm hoping he's competing for Defensive Player of the Year when it's all said and done.
For sure.
Speaking of the Cobras and their schedule, we do know how this industry is. There are some things that do pop in where things have to be changed, and luckily for the Cobras, it didn't affect the Cobras that much. Still have the same home games, still have the same road games. We have some unique matchups that are coming. We have Willing for you guys right off the bat, Columbus 3 times. You got Idaho twice. You got Shreveport a couple of times. Very competitive schedule, but we playing a little bit of division play. You got the American and the National, so we focus on conference play. You look at this team and you look at the rest of the league. Where do you measure the Cobras with the rest of the league?
I mean, look, there's my measurement, and then there's the measurement of the masses, right? So, I see there's a lot of polls that come out and predictions and this, that, whatever. It's kudos to those people that have the time to do that stuff. So a poll come out today. I'm going to try not to get aggravated on this podcast talking about it. I don't want anybody to see us coming. I hope we continue to get underestimated and put us fourth, fifth, whatever makes everybody happy. Look, you guys have known me for a little while now. Typically, those that underestimate me are disappointed when the end of the season comes. So, I'll just leave it at that. Look, the teams that are in our division are all very, very well put together. I will not deny we have 2 league champions in our division. Both teams went undefeated last year. Excellent coaching staffs. Give them all the glitz and glory. Fantastic, right? We still have to prove it on the field. But anybody who thinks that Carolina is just going to lay down and have an off year or whatever they want to call it, rebuild it, the statement is just lunacy, right? That's not what I work for. So, I heard Kacee talk about standard. We have a standard in Carolina too, and we're going to be right in the thick of things, come season then. And we'll play anybody, right? So, it's tough to play a game in the Greensboro Coliseum. You look at our home record over the course of the organization's existence. We win a lot more games at home than we lose, right? We got to do better on the road. Last year on the road we were 1-3. That's not going to get it done. So, that's kind of where my mindset is. That's the mindset that is being filtered through the coaching staff. Coach Bonner will pick up where I left off, but ultimately we got to focus on what we can control, and what we can control is the Carolina Cobras. So, I'm gonna try not to look at the predictions as much as possible. I'm gonna start hitting the unfollow button, so that I don't get so upset.
Well, you're talking about games in the Greensboro Coliseum. Fans of the Carolina Cobras, tickets are still on sale. 336-455-7232.
Yes, very good. That's outstanding.
Look, I'm actually, I'm not going to lie. I have the notes right here. So I come prepared because I actually do your show. So I need to come prepared when I'm doing the Carolina show.
Coach,
Again,
we have a comment on here from one of your players. It looks like he said, "Just put the ball down." He's ready to go.
Our kicker. Yes,
yeah, he's ready to go.
Willie's been ready. He's been wanting to play for about 3 months now, so he'll be excited to kick his first kickoff in the Coliseum. He'll probably kick it through the roof because he's just dying to get going. So new rookie kicker came out of Avon University and local to Grimsley High School. Willie Cavitas. Remember the name.
Yeah. So, Coach, you talked about a lot of the veterans. You just talked about Willie. Is there anybody on the roster that you would like the fans to keep their eye on? Maybe a name that they don't recognize, or somebody that's just, you're really excited about just to see what they can do?
Yeah, that's a good question. What's up, ZB? How are you? So I think our fans need to look at our quarterback room. Vincent Espinoza is a veteran to the game, but maybe not well known here in Carolina. Um, I have an extraordinary amount of confidence of what the Carolina Cobras environment can do for quarterbacks. If you look at our history, we've had a lot of good quarterbacks roll through Carolina. And I'm excited to show the world what Vincent Espinoza can do with the right coaching, the right environment, and the right amount of athletes around him. I also want people to remember the name Dom Schaffner. Dominic Schaffner could have made the team last year. We had him on a show before I pulled away as coach. This will be a rookie season for him, but he's at a UNC Charlotte local kid. And I think that he could do something special. So our quarterback room is just a different look than I think it's been in previous years. Guy Myers last year was he just far and away the best QB at camp, and we had some good ones in camp last year. And then you look at previous years: Malik Henry, Jonathan Bain, Charles McCullum, Sam Castronova. I mean, it's been nothing but MVPs or MVPs in other leagues, at the quarterback position in Carolina. So this is different. People don't really know these guys. And I think people should be impressed. That's on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, look at some of our DBs. I'll admit I don't even know them as well, as other people. We got DeWandre Crockett and C.J. Jones and Mike Miller. We went with, a different type of DB to mix in with guys like Kevin Simmons, and Jamari Milliken, tall, lanky, huge wingspans. These are different guys, right? It's a different makeup. So I'm looking forward to our season ticket pickup party on Sunday, where the fans will get ready to meet some of these new faces and start to build relationships with some of these new faces.
Coach, I know you have a lot of events that go on this time of year because we're 2 weeks away. Is there any upcoming fan events, ticket pickup parties, fan parties at camp? Probably. Is there any major events coming up leading up to kickoff on the 15th?
Yes, sir. So we got Cobras Fan Fest on March 2nd at High Point Bistro. That's where season ticket holders can pick up their tickets. We will have giveaways. All the players that'll be there, all the camp players will be there, coaches, new Venom dancers with their new director that we just brought on this week, another familiar face, Kristen Cox. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope we break occupancy laws in the restaurant, because I think we're gonna pack the house. It's gonna be tons of fun. So definitely want everybody there March 2nd from 3 to 6. We will open camp to fans after the first couple days. I tend to have the camp closed for the first couple days. We'll put out some announcements about camp viewing if fans want to come down and look at it. So with camp start next week, you get the first couple practices on the 3rd and the 4th, and then the 5th I'll probably start opening it up, and we'll do that. And then of course leading up to our first game on the 15th, we'll have huge tailgate like we always do. Some of our most dedicated fans, Brandy Littleton, Jessica Stevens, they do a great job of running our tailgates and stuff like that. And we've got a bunch of cool stuff for season ticket holders this year. We really put a lot of emphasis on fan experience. So we'll certainly put those out. Today we announced our fan bus program for road trips to Columbus. So we're gonna set up a fan bus for the game on the 21st. And there's details about that posted on the Cobras Facebook page and on our website. So yeah, I mean, look, you go to Cobras.com. There's a bevy of information on all the cool stuff that we want to do. And so I encourage everybody to check that out. But the biggest thing is this Sunday, guys, the season ticket pickup party in Cobras Fan Fest.
Well, Coach, before we get you out of here, we can talk about the schedule all you want. Ask the questions to Kacee earlier. Personal goal, team goal for this season for the Cobras.
So, my personal goal, pivoted a little bit when I became president, right? So, I want to win in the front office as much as we win on the field, right? I want to build a strong foundation that ensures that the the Cobras are sustainable for years to come. We're in a really good city, fellas. We have the support. I think over the course of 7 years, and this is hard to admit, even though I wasn't, in the front office the whole time, we have not marketed the team the way we should have. We should be close to selling out, what an indoor game capacity should be, right? Obviously, I know my arena seats 18,000 people, and that's not what I'm asking. But I've been to Omaha, I've been to Sioux City, and I've seen those crowds and how much the fan bases get behind the teams. And we should be able to match that. We have a market for that. So personal goal is to just win in the front office, continue to build support for the team, and make Carolina a destination location or desired destination for fans, players, coaches, you guys, whatever it may be. Team goal is look, I've got I've got personal accolades. They're very nice. I got 2 pretty trophies from the last 2 years sitting in this room behind me. I want my own championship trophy. Billy Back won this team a championship in 2018, and I love him for that, but that's not my trophy. That's his trophy. So I want my team, my coaches, our players to bring a championship to Greensboro. I think that that will do wonders for our fan base and for the city, and just feel really good. I can't even articulate what my emotions would be if the coaches handed me a trophy at the end of the season. Probably a lot of crying. I'll admit I'm a crier when I get excited. So, that's the team goal. And obviously I want everybody to stay healthy and ball out. I saw some names in the comments, Brent Lee Allen. I told him he has one responsibility this year. That's to win Rookie of the Year. I want those guys to showcase their talents and get picked up and moved up to higher levels. So I know that was probably more than one, and I tend to get long-winded when I talk about goals, but I got a lot of stuff I want to do.
All right, you have the liberty to speak where you want. And to the fans of the NAL, it's no longer the Greensboro Coliseum. It's the First Horizon Coliseum.
Yes, we bank with them. They're good, and they don't charge me any exorbitant fees. So let's make sure we give them their credit.
It's also where Coach Negron banks.
Yes.
Coach, appreciate it, or President. I'm just calling you Coach from here on out. Like, I can't call you President.
Listen, let me be clear so we can make sure it's recorded and noted. I will be coaching in the National Arena League again. This is not a long-term thing. God did not put me on this earth to be anybody's president. So, I'll get back to my passion at some point. But, I kind of like it now. I wore a collared shirt today. That was fun.
I don't know. Presidents, they get the limousines, the jumbo jets, the security detail.
I get the team bus. That's what I get. I get the team bus.
I'm thinking about other
Carolina.
I was going to say you go much further on that, Jim. We might as well all just be going woo.
For sure. Some theme songs would start breaking on that episode. But Coach, appreciate it. Me and Matt will do something that you don't like, but trust me, we're not going to do no top 25 ranking and leave half the league out of the top 25 ranking. That's not us. But we'll talk about your schedule.
Okay.
We've done it before on the Snake Pit, which airs Monday nights, taking a couple of weeks off because of camp.
Yes.
We'll be back right before the season, but we'll break down the Carolina Cobra schedule after this. And our third colleague, Jeff, will join us to help break down these two schedules. And we'll cap off the episode with the hype video for the 2025 season here on Inside the Walls. Coach, really appreciate you joining. And hopefully we get to see you someday, probably game day, like I tweeted with Kacee.
I hope so, too. You're always welcome. And is this the first time I do a show with Matt?
Yes, it is.
Well, this is awesome. I've been wanting to do this, so I'm glad we did it. I'll forgive the fact that I know you look at the world with Omaha beef glasses on. It's okay.
Oh, speaking of that, gotta ask the question, Matt. Got it.
Yeah, there you go, Coach. How do you feel about cowbells?
You know, luckily this is not monitored by the FCC. I fucking hate those things, man. Honestly, it's got to be the worst fan gift I've ever seen. You know what? I'm gonna leave it alone before I go on a tangent. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Checking schedule. Oh, I think it avoids the Cowboys.
No, it was last year.
Yes. Oh my God! I think I heard them ringing in my ear the entire flight home. I did.
That makes sense.
Yes.
It was fun to have you on tonight, Coach.
You too, guys. Thank you for everything that you do.
Appreciate it, Coach. We'll be back after this, closing out the episode. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Inside the Walls. And we got Jeff in attendance. That's strange. Let's do this little trick here if it allows me. And knowing technology, nope, ugly man in the wrong place. There we go.
Hey, there it is.
There he is, live at Willing Miners training camp. How's things going there in Willing, there, Jeff?
Good, getting chippy. 2 days left. Got to cut down. So I mean, it's getting tough out here. I mean, everybody's cracking pads. So I think we got somebody who wants to jump on real quick. There he is.
There he is.
That's Coach Riz.
About time we got them bums off there. About time we got them bums off.
Wouldn't be a Coach Rez segment without, Coach Rez being Coach Rez. But
No. And you've been busy the last 2 weeks with the training camp in Willing. Your observation, what's going on in training camp?
it's very competitive. I mean, you're going to see guys get cut that are probably going to get picked up other places. It's been extremely competitive. It's iron sharp and iron. I mean, every position is up for grabs. Nothing is given.
Matt?
Yeah, who's maybe somebody that's really impressed you, that Wheeling fans maybe have never heard of before?
Damian Barber played at Marshall and also out of Penn State. He's a defensive lineman. He's a D end, just a guy, massive body. His ability to get off the line of scrimmage is unbelievable. And he's getting around offensive tackles like with no problem at all. So definitely somebody that's going to have a breakout year in his first year in the NAL as well.
You want to break down some schedules there, seeing that you want to join?
Sure, not a problem.
All right, well, let's break down schedules. Let's start with the Columbus Lions, if I can get there we go. Starting off the season, as you know, we mentioned they play off with Peach State right off the bat. The first quadrant, we're breaking these schedules down to two quadrants. First four, last six, they both played 10 games this year. Columbus has Carolina twice, home and away, and Beaumont at home on April 18th, where they start off the season with Peach State. And then, well, excuse me, let's just start here. What are your thoughts on this, Jeff, this first quadrant of their schedule, Columbus Lions?
I think it's going to be a nice welcome back to the NAL kind of thing with the amount, with Carolina right off the bat and then, back to back. And then seeing Beaumont, seeing a little bit of their scrimmage. They're definitely got some guys that can play and veterans. So it's definitely somebody that can, do things when they need to. So it's a tough schedule. I mean, it's going to be right ahead. And obviously you throw Wheeling in there as well towards the back end. So I think it's definitely going to be a good welcome back to the NAL present for the Lions.
Well, speaking of the second half of the schedule, Columbus starts off April 6, 26, on the road to Colorado. That's a trip to Denver. Then they travel to Greensboro on May 3rd. Then they're home against Shreveport. Then they travel to Beaumont. Then they're home against Wheeling. They're at Wheeling. Then they're home against Wheeling, the back-to-back season. Matt, second quadrant breakdown. What do you think?
Yeah, this obviously is going to be the tougher portion of the schedule. Not that Carolina's not a tough opponent, but because they also play Colorado and they've got 2 with Wheeling. I'm looking forward to seeing the matchups with Carolina this year and that rivalry renewed. You know, we talked about that a little bit, but also excited to see the end of the season matchups that we've got there with Wheeling and them going back-to-back weeks, you know, and just seeing like what does that do for the playoffs, right? And where are we at that time of the season with the playoffs? But, you know, I don't know. I mean, Beaumont, we don't really know what they have right now either, so that could be, you know, a pretty competitive game as well. But I just think this is going to be, like Jeff said, a really fun and tough, like, welcome back to the NAL. Let's see what you guys really got.
Jeff,
Yes, sir.
what's your thoughts about the second part of Columbus' schedule?
I think it's going to be, they're going to have to come out, and that's going to be the make or break of the season for them to, you know, either winning the division or holding off that second spot, making it into the playoffs. So that's going to be a key factor. It's not always how you start, it's how you finish. So the end of their schedule is definitely going to be one where they want to pick some games up. And the bye weeks are going to help them, but I mean, it's going to the back half is definitely going to be where their money's made this season.
And we'll move to the. Do you want to do over-unders? You want to continue that over-unders for Columbus? You, Jeff, want to continue over and under or no?
You want me to set it or you want me to call it?
Hey, if you want to do it, go ahead. Set it or call it. It's up to you, bro.
Let me set it. I don't get to set it all the time. So I'm gonna set it at, I'm gonna say 6.5.
Ooh. Ooh. Matt, you got to take this one first. I got to think about this. 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, that's Jeff's not really holding any punches there. He's just like throwing it right at us. You couldn't see me on screen, but like my initial reaction, I was pushing my hands towards the screen because I'm like, that's, you know, that's, I mean, you got Carolina 3 times, you got Wheeling twice at the end of the season, you got Carolina there, or I mean, Colorado there in the middle. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one. 6.5, you said, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go under.
Under like 5-5 under, or
I think I'm gonna go 6.
so 6-4.
Yeah.
I'll take Columbus.
Making you think.
You should no longer do the over-unders there, Jeff. Period. You're done. You're fired.
Fired on
You're
you.
out of here. You're done.
Popular, make them good.
Man, I'm when you set that number, me and Matt basically had the same face expression, like, ooh, like I'm doing push-ups on it, like I don't want to touch it. But Columbus is a scrappy team. 6-4 seems like Columbus.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I'm saying 6-4. So that technically makes them 5-4 in the league play because they have Peach State on their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? No, they don't lose 4 NAL games this year. They don't. Give me the over on Columbus, 7-3.
There you go.
Give me the over. Sorry, I'm bold.
You have more experience watching them than I do, so I'll defer to you.
Yeah, no, I'll get some Columbus fans in my DMs. See, Jim respects us, or who are the 3 teams we're going to lose to? You're going to have every fan that goes up, especially the ones who create all the rankings. That apparently Willing's not ranked at all. But I digress. The Carolina Cobras schedule split up in 2 segments. The first half, the first 4 games, Carolina kicks off the season week 2 home against the Wheeling Miners on, that's not April 10th. That is March 15th is when they kick off. Disregard the mistype there on the scheduled date. Then they go back-to-back home and away to the Columbus Lions. Then they wrap up the first part of the schedule, first week in April against the Wheeling Miners. Guys, what do you think?
I'm sorry, I'm still over here dying about the comment that you made about not being ranked, but I'll go ahead and jump on this one first, since Jeff took the last one first. Carolina opens up the season with Wheeling. Their first game is against Wheeling. Wheeling will have played a game, obviously, as we know, will be there. You see the guys, if you could see it right now, you would see Wheeling in the background there behind Jeff, really working hard, getting ready for that first game in a week or so. But, they open up with 2 games against with a game against Wheeling and, okay.
I got the wrong screen.
I was going to say somehow the graphic is messed up on there. But
I
anyways,
got the graphic. Yeah, that's me being technical. To the people who are listening to the podcast platform, I am human. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I do apologize. I am human.
We can confirm that Jim is human.
Yes.
No, but anyways, you got that game against Wheeling to open up the season, and then you got the rivalry right there with Columbus in back-to-back weeks. That's going to be an interesting start to the season there, and we will see Wheeling week 1, and we'll know what Wheeling is week 1. I'm sure of
it. Jeff, what's your thoughts?
Listen, I'm excited to see what happens with Carolina, with the ups, with the downs. Listening to Coach President Negron. I don't know what to call him either. I was laughing because I was like, I don't know what to call him either, because I don't want to disrespect him either way. He's still a coach, but he is the president. So we'll go with Coach President Negron. But I think, Carolina's always been a scrappy team. They've always been somebody that has been in it for a long time. They're always in the championship game. Seems like, there's a lot of history in the NAL there. Longest tendered NAL team. I think, some games are going to go different ways for them. It's going to be, I think you're going to see, the typical Carolina team that is, going to try to pull it out at the end, put themselves in good position to win the game, and it's going to come down probably to the last drive and see what they can do. I think they're poised for a good season. Like I said, I think the division play is definitely going to be nice. Everybody's going to see everybody a couple times. So, it's already chippy with Wheeling and Carolina, so it's already going to get that way. So I think they're just, like I said, poised for a good season. It's always logic, right? They're going to have a good season.
Got some guys popping in there.
And in the second half of the schedule, Carolina, and of course, this graphic's also wrong, so I'm not going to post it there. And we got more photo bombs. We got Matt photo bombing. Like, there we go. Like, hello, guys. Distraction.
But I mentioned Barber. That was Barber right behind me. I'm a small guy, but come on, like that's a big human.
You are a small guy, yeah, you are. Just don't go out running for routes. That would just look
not bad. A good idea.
No, because are there any famous like 5'1" receivers out there?
No.
Well, this is your chance there.
Yeah.
Chance to go make history. Yay.
Yeah, there we go.
So does that mean we're not getting a Rich Eisen-esque video from Jeff?
No. So the second quadrant of the schedule for the Carolina Cobras in the second half, they get it started. Disregard the dates, but these are the actual games. Carolina travels to Idaho in April. They come home, or they travel to Wheeling on April 19th. They are at Shreveport April 26th. They're home against the Columbus Lions on May 3rd. May 17th, they travel to Shreveport. And then to cap off the season, May 24th, home against the Iowa Horsemen. Second part of the schedule, gents, what's your thoughts? Well, Matt, what's your thoughts? Jeff already got his 2 cents of the second half.
Yeah, for sure. No, second half of the season, again, you got that Columbus rivalry. You got 2 games with Idaho. Not, we're still not really sure what Idaho has, and then you got the Wheeling matchup, and then a couple games with the Rougarou. I think their second half of their season is going to be a little bit easier potentially than the beginning of their season. And looking forward to just like Jeff said, looking forward to seeing with the changes in the staff and those kinds of things, what Carolina is going to bring to the league in 2025.
All right, Jeff, do you want to set it or do you want Matt to set this?
Let Matt set it. I got in trouble last time. Let Matt set it.
Okay. Well, you're going to let me set the over-under for this. I'm going to go 6.5.
They're both comping out 6.5. I think the
You know what? No, you know what? Fine. I'll be like Jim. I'll be bold. I'm going to go 7.
Straight 7?
Straight 7.
Oh, I'm pushing 7-3.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I was teetering between there, and I would say 7-3, 8-2. Definitely going to be in that range. Like I said, we've definitely put a lot of 8-2s up there because that's how competitive the league is. I mean, that's one thing that I don't think you're going to see too many teams go undefeated. I mean, Omaha last year definitely, but I think with the caliber of teams that are being come in, and also the people that we have, in the league, the names that are out there, I think it's going to be pretty hard to go undefeated. So I mean, I'm definitely saying 8-2 is definitely realistic for every team, honestly.
I'm expecting some unique tiebreaker scenarios to kick in towards the end of the year.
Yeah, for
the only
sure.
reason why I wanted that to happen is we have more playoff implications as we lead up to the playoffs. More games that really matter the most, the more eyes you'll get on the product itself. We've been on the show for a while here, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff, have you seen the new hype video? Yes or no?
I have not. I'm excited to see it.
Okay. Matt, any final words for this episode?
No, just want to let people know that this Saturday at 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be live from the Liberty First Credit Union Arena, the Slaughterhouse, for the next episode of the Prime Cuts podcast. We will have 2 guests on the show, offensive lineman Junebug for the Omaha Beef. I'm not even going to try to say his real name, and quarterback Taz Wilson. So tune in Saturday at 5 p.m., 6 Eastern.
Jeff, any final words?
No, excited to be, back in the studio next week. Camp will be over with, so be back in the studio and, able to do a full show. Haven't done a full show in a little bit, so miss you guys. But, I mean, camp has been awesome, so got to do what we got to do. But excited to be back next week.
And speaking about next week's schedule change for the show, we are moving to Tuesdays because it's time for regular season football. And besides Thursday, a couple of guys will be traveling up to Willing, so we can't do our normal show on Thursday. But there might be some additional news shows that are happening on Friday or Saturday or something like that. So be prepared for that. Inside the Walls 2025 season prediction show. We will give out our first media poll, a fan poll that we're going to send out, let you fans vote on division winners and how everything goes. It's going to be a very interactive show. Also, remember, hashtag ticket giveaway on any of our videos. We will make our drawing for our first ticket winners next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock for the 2025 National Arena League kickoff prediction show. Matt has disappeared. Jeff, again, next week, game week, we'll actually be talking about legit games. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, sit back and relax. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And this is the 2025 NAL hype video. Hold on, we come.